Greetings, everybody. I am the Starving Martian, and this is Collecting the Collective, where we take a look at everything Borg-related and determine whether it should be assimilated into your collection or resisted, although we all know how futile that can be. So, today we are looking at one of my personal favorite pieces in my collection, the Borg Queen action figure from Playmates. This is from their Warp Factor series, series number 5. And it's the same series that gave us the 7 of 9 that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. And so let's take a look at the details. Now, for those of you who may not be in the know, the Borg Queen was introduced in the movie Star Trek First Contact. She very much changed people's perspective of the Borg, of what the Borg means, what the Borg is. Because before the Borg Queen came around, we were just told that there was one hive mind, one consciousness that the Borg all shared. In fact, in the first episode with the Borg, it specifically said that not having a leader could be greatly advantageous to the Borg, because a leader can make a mistake, whereas a collective mind would be less likely to do so. And so it came as a bit of a surprise in the movie where they introduced a leader for the Borg. And there's a lot of debate back and forth whether or not the Borg Queen is a proper addition to the Borg mythos, whether the Borg is better off before her or not. And, I can see both sides of the argument, and yes, the idea of a collective mind, I think, doesn't need a leader figure. On the other hand, the Borg Queen is so well done, both in action figure form and also on the movie, that I really can't complain about her inclusion. She's an excellent character. I enjoy it whenever she's on the screen. And the actresses who played her, there's two separate actresses. One played her during the movie First Contact. Let's see, what was her name? I'm not going to pronounce this right, am I? Alice Cridge, I believe you pronounce it. Anywho, she did an excellent job. And then there's one playing her in Voyager. She did quite well as well. Alice Cridge would return and play the Borg Queen in the final episode of Voyager. So, here we have the figure here. It's modeled after her appearance in First Contact. And I think they got the face down pretty good. You could kind of see over here these little clamps. In the movie, those clamps come down out of this kind of mechanical suit to keep this fleshy part in place. Around the back of the figure, you can see where all these tubes connect into the back of her head. And you can see a little bit of coloring difference on the top of her head, where this is a little bit orangey. You can see some ridges here, and where the tubes are connecting into her skull. You can see the outline of the ridges underneath her flesh. And so it's a very nice figure, very well detailed. Just done in this black with the silver piping. And around the back as well. So she looks good. She looks good. She looks, more or less like you would imagine the Borg Queen would look. The paint on the face might be a little off. It should be, there should be like a little more speckled kind of colors coming up towards the back of the head. But for an action figure, we're not gonna quibble too much. If they're making like a statuette of the Borg Queen, they might be able to include better detailing like that. Now, as far as posability goes, she has almost none, but I'm not going to complain because it's for a really good reason, which we'll get to in a little bit. But her head does not turn, her arms don't do anything. I mean, okay, they do. You can rotate them out like this. I don't know. But, so they rotate around here, and If you want to line them up perfectly, you could just match the silver painting here. And right there as well. So the legs rotate up, but you're not going to get any good poses out of her that way. She stands pretty well on her own. And as I say that, she wants to fall over. But once you get her in a good position, she stands pretty well on her own. But she does, of course, come with the obligatory Borg base. You see this one's actually inverted. Most of them are red with a black background. She comes with a couple other accessories. She comes with this doohickey here, a Borg power regulator. Same thing that 7 of 9 came with, except this is cast in a different color. She comes with the ever-present Borg scanner device, which they insist on giving every single Borg action figure, even though they never use them on the show. Oddly, she's actually one of the few Borg figures I found that can actually hold her scanning device. And she also comes with an alternate arm. This is her mechanical arm. And it's a prosthetic device equipped with tools and weapons. It's got a little nub up here. I imagine you could pop one of these arms off and put this in its place. I haven't tried because these are on nice and tight and I don't want to mess that up. Plus, the Borg Queen never used anything like this in the movie or in any of the Voyager episodes. And I honestly don't believe that she would, because she's not really the hands-on type. That's what she has billions of drones for. But the piece itself is nice, and this little spatula end rotates. So if you felt like swapping her arm out for that, you could. I just never felt the need to do so. Alright, now, the Borg Queen has one really, really cool feature that's not actually mentioned at all on her packaging. And I'm not sure how you were supposed to know she could even do this. But this is the one thing that sets this figure apart from the other figures in the line, and the thing that makes me completely forgive the lack of mobility, because it's really hard to see, but there is a seam up where her shoulders is. Or shoulders are, rather. And if you can get your finger into that seam, oops, this whole part folds down. There we go, and you can pull her up and out of her body. And this is really awesome. This is how we first meet the Borg Queen in First Contact. She's just a head and like bits of shoulder and a spinal column, and she gets lowered down into her mechanical body, and they they actually let you do that on the figure. This is pretty awesome. And they, like I said, they don't even tell you on the box, on the package, that this is a thing that you can do. And so it's kind of left for you to discover on your own, unless of course, you know, I spoil it for you. So you can see her mechanical spinal column going through here. It's got some like veins running around it. Flip it over like this. They painted the inside as really nasty, gory looking, like dark blood color, raw meat kind of thing going on there. That's kind of disturbing. And so yeah, that's really awesome. You can stand the body up and bring it down like this. And there you go. Now she's ready to seduce your data figures. And I didn't realize until I got my hands on the action figure how much this reminds me of the Batman Returns Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman suit. Alright, so what we're going to do is just a couple of quick size comparisons, and here she is with the other female Borg in the series, 7 of 9. And if you missed her episode, well, they're all there under Collecting the Collective. Just click on my name, you'll find the playlist. Here she is with one of her many drones. And I think they scale well. I think they go good together. Alright, so that's about it for the Borg Queen. Now, this particular figure is one of the more expensive of the original Playmates action figures. Most of the Borgs you could pick up for like $5. You know, 7 or so, and probably around 10 after shipping. This one here is going to cost you at least 25. That's the price I paid for her on Amazon, which was the cheaper price I could find. She was a little more expensive on eBay, but I think she's worth it. I think she was definitely worth it. If you are a Borg collector, definitely assimilate this one into your collection because it's the Queen. It's one of the few named characters of the Borg. It's she's definitely one of, if not the most important single Borg out there, and just as an action figure, I think they pulled it off nicely. I think it hits all the right notes, and the ability to open up her torso section and remove her head, and you know, that's just icing on the cake. These bits here, by the way, are made of a soft kind of squishy material. I wouldn't actually dangle her head from that. I'd be afraid of putting too much stress on them, but yeah, if you guys are interested in collecting Borg at all, definitely seek this one out. Add it to your collection. Your other Borg will thank you. She will bring order to their chaos. Alright, so this has been the Starving Martian taking a look at the Borg Queen. We'll get back to you next week with some more simulated fun and goodness. But until then, everyone, keep a watching them skies.